guys. I'm Zaika. I'm a writer, so I write for galleries, artists, and I also write for Rappler, GMA News. My beat is mainly arts, science and technology, and the intersection of arts and science and technology. Um, Sometimes I write really bad poetry. I make zines about my daughter, so she's there. She's doing like a yeah, she's there. She's my tiny boss. She's doing like fortune telling there. So her prediction of my future is I'm gonna be single forever. I'm a single mom, and I met Kayla in a short course in Ateneo, and after that, we just started doing projects together.
Yeah, so actually our first project was called Art of Doing. So since we're gonna be talking about a bit about the practical side of businesses or practices. So basically Art of Doing lost a lot of money, but we'll go through that like a bit later. Maybe we could start with Komura. There's just a Rappler video. They came in and we didn't know they were gonna do a feature on us. This was the first Komura book fair. It was shortly right after Art of Doing.
No music. So Rappler dropped by and covered it. The icons are really nice. So who has been in Kumura? Raise your hand. Kumura Book Fair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So our project started as a book fair. We tried to like explore different ways we make and experience or consume literature. So we gathered different kinds of storytellers. We had VR during the first Kumura Book Fair. We had zine makers. We had art brands and small press.
Actually, I didn't introduce myself. I totally forgot. I'm Kayla, and I'm one of the co-founders of Warehouse 8. So, halata na hindi kami sanay on stage. We're usually behind the scenes all the time and just like working a lot.
And we're not supposed to speak today. It's really spontaneous.
Yeah. So actually, Komura Book Fair started when it was the height of a lot of big book fairs. So there was Manila Book Fair, Big Bad Wolf, and then we were looking at it and we're like, why is there so much people? It feels like it's actually really tiring to be there. It's exhausting. Daming tao, parang how are we able to talk to these people, you know? So we wanted to have a little fair like that highlights local writers, illustrators, artists, and they're able to actually connect. So even if they only publish 20 books or 20 zines, they can be a part of a community. Yeah.
So we wanted people to fall in love with reading, not just to buy books and to like have a shelf as a decoration. So we wanted to look into how people are telling stories right now. So my daughter, for example, loves video games, and it's a form of storytelling. And me as a writer, I think it's more of like when I don't understand something or I'm fascinated with wonder with something, I try to write about it. And I think it's mostly like that. Like my daughter, I'm like, why is she like stuck in this? And I'm like not allergic to it. Like most of the moms, they're like, oh, read, don't watch TV or don't use the iPad. But me, I'm like, why is she fascinated with that? So I think it's more of like, it's an immersive way to experience stories, and it's really beautiful, and we wanted to share that in Kumura Book Fair.
So when we did these events, we saw the community and listened to what was needed. Yung sinasabi ni Zaika, yung hobby namin, naghahanap kami ng problema. So we saw that there was a need. And then that's why Komura Book Fair evolved into little pockets of storytelling, basically. Yeah.
So right now, right now we did a website, totally bootstrapped. Thank you so much, Eliza. Where
Yeah,
are
she's
you,
there.
for making it.
White shirt, Komura shirt. Yeah.
We spent exactly 400 pesos.
Yeah, actually, it was like a day's worth of
Sorry.
of thinking over. Like, were we gonna spend 5,000 or
Because
400?
we don't have a revolving capital for Komura.
So parang we were arguing about it. Like, 5,000 lang naman. It's gonna be there for 2 years. But you know, gusto namin magtipid. So in the end, we stuck with hellokomura.com instead of
mahal kasi yung ano
Komura.ph. Yeah.
.ph.
So ang tagal namin
So
pinag-isipan
actually,
yun.
gusto lang namin i-show off yung website.
Yeah,
no?
actually, kasi ang ganda. So,
Eliza, please stand. Yeah. Yeah, please stand. Yeah. Eliza made the website.
guys, first website ginawa niya other than her own profile. Yeah.
So here's a website. You can see yung mga babies ng Kumura right now. Before, it started as a book fair, but now we don't know what it is. So maybe it's a platform, it's a program. Like, help us figure it out. Basically, we just want to provide more value to the community and, yeah, make people remember how beautiful it is to read a book.
So, yeah.
So the tabs are gossips. Those are basically what media is telling about us. Or gatherings. And then we're creating this online database of publishers, bookstores, independent bookstores, art spaces. You can, if you're a creator, you can freely add yourself in the directory so other creatives could find you and collaborate with you, or like people who love independently produce works to support you. So
the directory. Yeah.
The directory.
The directory tab. Yeah. And
So, yeah, it's all free. It's all free.
so we wanted
So far,
yeah.
this is like a short list.
Yeah, but you guys can still apply. So if someone wanted to get to know the creative scene here, the culture, they can just hop onto the website and look for, yeah.
Pakilik.
Click lang.
Pakilik.
Yeah. Wala tong ano eh, wala kaming testing.
Quago,
We didn't
Art Books, Black Cat, Studio Soup, Zine Library, So
Yeah.
Beautiful, Bukay Ukay, Bookfellas. Yeah, it's just a short list as of the moment, but you can add onto it.
Yeah. So, you want to go to the Creators Grant?
Yeah. So, and then, kakatambay ko, kasama yung mga creatives, like people consigned at Quago. They're telling me na sometimes they only can produce like a small batch, like 16 pieces because of lack of capital. And you see things like this, pwede nyo ipasa, like to check it out, abroad being produced. This is Chris Ware's Building Stories. And it's just super well done, and you're just jealous because I think people like Romel can produce things like this with enough funding. And yeah, you can just pass it on. So, minsan, like yung mga tambay sa Quago, nag-uusap, ano ba talaga yung problema? So, more support, production cost, ganyan. So, I told this to Kayla and we're like, we don't have money, what do we do?
Yeah, so we were just like, why not open it up for a grant? Let's approach people who want to help. Luckily, we have a good friend, JT. He's from Sen, so it's a homegrown logistics company. And you can watch this video. It's really short. We finished it in like a week, so right before the event. Yeah. Is there sound?
Sound.
Start from the ano na lang, top.
Drawing feels
Louder.
satisfying when you do it. Kasi
Make it
even
louder.
kahit ilang oras na ako mag-work, mag-drawing. Minsan, when I take a break, mag-drawing pa rin ako. Ang thing nga doon, kailangan mag-paint, pero kailangan mo ng materials to paint. So, kailangan magtrabaho, kailangan mo kumuha ng ibang jobs para bayaran yung pag-paint. Pero nangyayari doon, meron ko ibang jobs, hindi ka makapag-paint. I'm Romel. I'm an illustrator and currently teacher sa UP Fine Arts. I could have done a lot of things that could have probably earned more. Pero alam niyo ba idea nung flow, yung creative flow na challenge meets skill, yung drawing, yung art, may point na nagmi-meet yung difficulty ng task and yung skill level. Tapos parang nakaka-satisfy yung gano'n. And ang daming work na currently ginagawa ko for a number of reasons because I want to do a lot of things. Also, on a more practical level, kailangan ko it was intended to be, ang title is Takata Comics. I've always wanted to do something na may packaging to. Tapos naalala namin na yung mga Takatak boys, nagbebenta sa kalye yung mga sigarilyo. What if gawin natin gano'n? Tapos instead na sigarilyo laman niya. Tapos, yun yung start ng idea namin. So it's basically just, it's an anthology of stories.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I open up my home for people who need it. Warehouse 8 is a co-working space, but it's also an events venue. Right now, it's like a normal office day, but we also do our own events. So one of the events is Kumura Book Fair, and it's an independent platform for artists, creatives, writers. We decided to make the Creators Grant because we found that a lot of people have great ideas, and it's really hard to execute when you don't have the proper funding, or you have that kind of headache always hindering your creativity. And hopefully it helps creatives in the future to create without having the burden of thinking about how to sustain or how to get their projects done, basically.
Hi, I'm Zyka. I make drinks and bad poetry. Wago is a book bar at the doorstep of Warehouse 8. I collaborated with Marco Tarog and Matthew Carpio to make fiction-inspired drinks. In the bar, I make them myself. We have books here, we promote reading, and I organize events to deepen our understanding of the culture and for readers and the bookmakers themselves to connect. Most of the people who are under Guago, usually pag nagkikwento sila sa akin, sinasabi nila, minsan may idea sila sobrang ganda, tapos di nila ma-execute kasi wala silang pera. So for this one, we thought of creating a grant.
I am JT and I'm a delivery boy. Yeah. So I'm with Send. We're an e-commerce logistics platform, and we do deliveries nationwide and abroad. Well, for Send, we've always been about powering the Filipino entrepreneur. And we have always believed that entrepreneurs come in various shades and gradients, forms and sizes. In this case, with Kumura, we want to enable all of those creative entrepreneurs, the local and independent publishers, the zine makers, the comic makers, the artists. So we want to empower all of those creative ideas without financial constraints.
So actually, this is the wrong video, but this is the video before the final cut. So we did like final amendments to it, pa. It's okay, guys. So this is
It's
basi-
okay,
This
Kay.
is our life, basically. Yeah, pero we'll probably upload the final cut later on. So it has a much better flow. So we really thought about it. Yeah, sorry about that. So since we're talking about the practical side of starting something bootstrapped, independent, I think a lot of people have this perception, especially in Makati, in this area, that a lot of the things we do is very expensive. But I think it's also hard to see the little things that add on. So the operations cost of organizing something. Yeah, you want to answer that?
Actually, I think we're not like Kumura is very new. We're not yet experienced enough to be here and talking about these things. We're more in the perspective of like we're struggling also, and we want to learn from the speakers.
Yeah.
And
That's why we organize this.
yeah, that's
also.
why we organize. We organize things for us, so that's what we do.
Yeah. And also
Uh,
like to have like a mini reunion with like the volunteers because we hardly see them. So only when we have an event we're like, oh yeah, get together. Yeah. I think we're just gonna open up the floor.
for questions,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, let's do this.
yeah. These
Uh,
questions.
Yeah.
Single ba si Kayla? Yes. Yes.
Ayan, okay.
Hi, may I ask, are you guys open to investors or are you very protective of the
Yes, yes, we're open, but yes, yes, but I'm gonna consult her first. So it was very important, for example, for the grant that Send respected the creative freedom of whoever receives it. We had a contract about it, and we actually approached another brand that like had a lot of briefing and wanted to control the direction of what's going out, and we stopped negotiating with that person. So I think it's more of like respecting the creative freedom of the people in the community of what we want to do, our vision for it. It's more of like as what Ian said. When you collaborate with someone, you have to be aligned with the vision of that person, and you know you just talk it out. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also okay to ask for help whenever you need help. I think it's more of just finding the right people to ask. So yeah, like we couldn't have done the grant if without like Send support. But in the future, yes, we're open. Like whoever wants to fund the next grant. It's not just for zines. We were actually planning our first like proposal for it was that we'll have a grant for video games, for multimedia, for books, and then one is called X. So it's kind of like anything. You can fund anything. Yeah.
And speaking of help, like this is not possible without like the people here. Like some are not dressed in Kumura like Gia. She had the sprint last night. So these little things. I don't like Kumura. It's not possible without everyone. Yeah.
More questions, guys?
We talk later.
Pwede ba siya mag-ask ng question, Daya? Who wants to ask?
Single si Kayla.
Because you deal a lot with a community of artists, diba? So, what can you tell about starting from scratch to where you are now? Like, how do you handle? Kasi ang dami niyong artists and you've built a community. What can you tell us about the journey from when you started it to now, and how do you handle all these artists, all these contacts?
So as I've said, no, we're still struggling. We're still finding a system, and we don't, anarchy for the artists,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's more of like, did I answer your question? But artists are very protective of their freedom, and that's very important. So it's more of like creating that space for dialogue, and you have to really listen to them and what do they really want, and just a balance of that. And I think it's more of conversations with everyone, not just artists, but when you do a collaboration, it's more of a conversation. So have to be transparent. So for example, I think Kayla and I works because she's like, sorry, my daughter is here. She's very direct. So she just like tells me like even if it will hurt me. So that kind of honesty, you're very
Ayun na,
honest.
nag-open forum na po sila sa Kumura. Patay.
But I'm still drinking coffee, candid guys, candid.
I'm just like I forgot the question. Pero yeah. I don't feel like we ever manage the community. I think it's just Yeah, I think it's just that we have this platform and it's like a free for all, you know? Like if you want to be a part of it, okay. If you don't, then that's fine also. We respect it, but we'll also want to support you in other ways. So even like Kumura itself, we have our own events. We organize our own book fairs, independent book fairs, but there's a lot of other communities like BLTX that we would love to share what they're doing. So it's not just about us, it's about everyone. Yeah.
So I think that it has to be clear that as a group, you work for a vision, for that one vision, and it's not about you controlling stuff. So it's more of like, let's go, let's make people fall in love with books, you know. So, are you in game? What are your strengths? Like, help contribute that. It's more of like that. So, oh yeah, I'm very bad at management, so I don't know.
Wait, I also have a question because you guys were talking about the fear of or not fearing charging people for certain things. Because I know that you guys come up with so many other events and intimate gatherings, and some have a charge, some don't. How do you determine which ones are that valuable to that community that you have, that you know that there should be a price to, you know, to it? Sorry, see, you should not allow us. That's the lesson that you learned today.
I think, like I touched on earlier, there's a lot of things that we don't see that cost money, and we need to cover it. Like, for example, I'm one of the co-founders of Warehouse 8, but we still pay for it. So when we're renting it right now, I still have to pay back the company something. Even though it's subsidized, it's still pretty expensive. And if it's a loss, it's personally my loss. So I think charging is okay. It's just that there is this perception sometimes when, for example, like a gig, like you were explaining. Yeah.
I think yung copying out, selling out, or grabe naman yan, laki ng entrance. So actually, nagkaroon na issue like for this event, like the door charge is so high, and why is it so inaccessible? And let's just keep this person anonymous. But we like politely said that actually we're taking a video of it. You can access it on the internet. The knowledge should be free, but organizing an event is expensive. So all of these things that you see, it's not free. And when you run something that's 100% independent, without a grant, without like a big company supporting it or controlling its content, it's really hard. So I think it's more of supporting each other, like financially is actually very tangible. Not just like, you know, supporting presence, gano'n. Ay, okay din yun. Pero yung support na, like, you know, tangible. So, and I hope naman na-enjoy nyo, like, yeah, this night. It's a lot of work, like, creating a marketing campaign, like, to promote the speakers. Like, promoting, like, for example, the book fair, the vendors, sometimes they don't share. So, it's actually, like, a lot of partnerships, and press releases and pubs, you know, there's like work behind it and discipline, and these are the things that we're not afraid to charge. We take pride in doing it, and until now, we're not able, I think today we're not gonna be able to pay ourselves, but I hope everyone like has a good time tonight and has learned something.
Guys, just to add, something that we should commend when it comes to Kayla and Czyka whenever they come up with events. At the end of the day, yes, they have this goal na parang, oh, we should hit this target and whatever. But really, more than anything, towards the last hour, they'll say, doesn't matter, really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, as long as each and every person there has a great time, or there's a good conversation, or they learn something and they take something away from that, that's what's important to them. Because I've known them for a while since they've been creating events. And I think that's something that's very important to highlight in these small like gatherings and events. Na it's important that, because at the end of the day, this would not have grown if it didn't come from somewhere honest.